Hey, everybody. Let's make sure we're all good. Live from Denver, it is Friday night. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Critical Conversations. Welcome, critics. Happy to have you here. This is Critical Conversations for the 11th of February in the year of our Lord, 2022.
The year of our Lord.
And as always, I am joined by my beautiful, and I should also say, witty, humorous, and intelligent wife, Melissa.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Yes. I want her, of course, to be known for her beauty, but there are many more wonderful qualities represented here as well.
Thank you.
Yes, my favorite person. All right, guys. Happy birthday. Yeah, no, that's not till December.
But my birthday is coming up.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. This month, actually, yes. And I don't. We won't discuss the specifics of your age or anything.
I don't care.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we won't. I'm not touching it. But yeah. So that's happening, and yeah, we are looking forward to to Melissa's birthday. We have fun things planned. I will be doing a talk at the Secular Hub this weekend, tomorrow night, and that is partially I'm doing that just between us girls here in order to secure the location so that we can have her party the following weekend.
Yes.
So that we can celebrate in style and have all of our friends there and
Yes.
have a good time. So birthday celebrations are in the air. Oh man, you'll have to go with me a little bit here. This is I'm a little, I don't know, just feeling a little woozy today, feeling a little so so we're gonna power on and we're gonna do the show anyway. I'm not sick or anything, just feeling funny. Yeah, happy Valentine's Day. That's right. This is the Valentine's show. Actually, I guess I should have thought of that.
Yeah.
But oh well. Well, yes, happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yes, happy Valentine's Day.
That's right. So new beginnings. I called the show New Beginnings. I was thinking about the fact that God, you know, when you talk about something a lot over a few days with a lot of different people, it feels like you're talking about it a lot, even though I know on video to you guys, I don't know that I've really talked about it a lot. But anyway, you know, finishing up the thesis, waiting for my grade now, totally just waiting. And once that's done, the program is finished. I'm completed with the Psychology of Coercive Control program. The master's degree. And so that's exciting for a lot of reasons. Of course, the paper being done and all that is awesome. And I'm very, very happy about that. But what it represents is perhaps a sea change for me, or a change in what I can do. And what I can, what I will be doing, what I am doing. I don't know. But I do know that I don't want to stop doing this. So in any other thing I ever say, unless I specify otherwise, none of what I'm talking about would stop this from happening. But now a lot of those projects that I've had on hold for the last year or two are now happening. And let me give you guys an example of this. Is I have been promising this bloody e-meter video, and before the meter video, there's another video that has to happen first, and that video is the emotion, the Scientology emotion tone scale video, because I can't really talk about the meter until I have that stuff cleared up on emotions and the tone scale and the thetan and some of that stuff. And so we're going to get really into the weeds with Scientology details, I should say, with emotion. And so now, from my position now, having done real research and really understanding what that process is now versus what I used to do and what other people do when they just get online and find blogs or find articles at random and sort of pull and push and confirmation bias their way through stuff. now I can do real research and I have access to the literature and stuff. And so, like, for example, just to give you guys a little taste of this, I got going on this video work right away. And this paper right here is one of about 10 that I pulled out of the literature databases, the psychology databases, looking up what is emotion. What is it? What do people, what does psychology has to say about it? This paper right here is from 1981, and it is a list. It's a paper that details 92 different definitions for the word emotion.
Yeah, that really simplifies it. Totally.
Yeah, 92. That's right. This is not a word that to this day is well defined in psychology, in sociology, in neuroscience, which are the fields that sort of explore and get into emotion and the effects that emotion has on us, as they call it, affect with an A, affect, and cognition, which is a sort of an artificial differentiation between like feelings versus thoughts, affect versus cognition, right? And you get into this stuff and you start getting into the weeds really fucking fast. Like, I mean, mathematical formulas and graphs and people trying to figure stuff out on different axes of influence and intensity and all this kind of stuff. Emotion is a difficult topic to nail down. So I feel a little bit better with my sort of whatever definition that it's just emotions are just thoughts that your whole body feels. I actually found a definition that actually is pretty much that in the literature. So anyway, pretty encouraged by all of that. Yes, exactly. The other kangaroo. You learn what you didn't know you didn't know. That's exactly right. Yeah, Bud 123, I do not have any plans on doing a PhD right away. I do have plans to publish, though, to get my work, my research published, not just in my thesis, but actually turn that into something that can get into academic journals. And I want to do that. We have possible plans to do that. And then from the research that I did, by the way, I could either do a book or I could do a series of papers or both on auditing and security checking and Scientology, the counseling and what it does and what it actually does versus, how it presents what it does. That might be kind of interesting. I don't really know that would be a really popular book, but it might be interesting to do a thing on that. So that might be an avenue. Or I could do a more embracive thing where I talk about not just security checking, but also all the other intricacies of Scientology's confessional culture, because there's also all of the surveillance, knowledge reports, ethics officers, all of that whole authoritarian surveillance structure. And there are specific kinds of FPR or of Scientology confessional auditing or security checking. There's false purpose rundown, where they try to drill into you and pull out your evil intentions.
Oh, wow.
Yes, your false purposes and evil intentions. Was there some evil purpose or destructive intention that prompted you to commit that overt?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, start getting those evil intentions out of you, right? When I was on the RPF, this is the kind of auditing we would do. And so I ran out, I did about 1,000 hours of FPRD, and I had, I don't know, probably a couple hundred evil intentions excoriated from my being, from my thetan. There is no calculus in this research. That is correct. There is math, though. I did manage to mix quantity and quality, qualitative and quantitative research in the work that I did. So it does have some numbers and some interesting things associated with it. Oh, Couch, you got a new kitten today. Hey, great.
That's
thanks.
awesome.
Yeah, thanks for that super chat too. Really appreciate that. Okay, so I do not know what happened to Stacey Brooks. I get asked questions about Stacey Brooks, Bob Mitten, the Lisa McPherson Trust and stuff, and I don't really have solid answers on all of that. That whole drama happened kind of before my time with people I didn't know and never met. And so it's hard for me to talk in detail about that stuff too much. Oh, yeah. Did you make up evil intentions while doing FPRD? Well, yeah, that's what you have to do when you're asked these questions. What the simplicity of let me explain real fast because you guys might be interested in this. The simplicity of how Scientology security checking works and basically how auditing works is that you are put in a room with a meter. You're holding the cans. The auditor's asking you questions or giving you commands. And you are expected to carry out these commands or answer these questions and get to it. And you and the auditor are in there, and it's sort of presented as teamwork, even though if push comes to shove, you ain't allowed out of that room until the auditor says so. And the e-meter is the divination tool of truth. The e-meter is the thing that decides whether you're telling the truth or not. What you say to an auditor or a security checker in Scientology session doesn't really matter a whole lot until you're giving over the goods, confessing your sins, in other words, right? So when the sec checker asks you a question, I'll just go through this real quick, just so we can kind of establish this. When you give up an overt, a sin, a moral transgression. Let's say you're asked, have you ever, stolen from your work? Have you ever stolen from your place of employment? Ding, meter reads. Oh, yeah, there we go, right? And so you say, oh, yeah, sure. And you give over, yeah, I stole, a ream of paper from my workplace, right? Good. When, where, how was it? How'd you justify it? Who almost found out about it? You get a whole series of questions. And then the auditor asks, is there an earlier similar time? Because if the needle on the e-meter is not floating at that point, and it mostly isn't after you've only given over one overt, you get asked, is there an earlier similar time you stole from an employer? Right? Or stole from your place of employment, or whatever the question is exactly. And you have to find an earlier time. And then you get all the details on that. Is there an earlier similar time you stole from an employer? And this is how you end up going into past lives, as you are presented with this question over and over again of, is there an earlier similar overt? And after a while of this, you pick up, after your present time overt gets given up, you just kind of start jumping whole track. You just kind of start jumping down to, oh yeah, there was this time in the court of Louis VIII, and I was a keeper of the royal footstool, and I really liked this royally embroidered footstool, so I took it home with me to my country estate, and I stole from Louis VIII, right? And this is the kind of stuff you'll come up with. And it, and this might develop like the way we used to talk about it is it would develop like a Polaroid picture, as the auditor, as the sec checker, you're asking this person, is there an earlier similar time? And they're like, yeah, no, I don't remember anything. And you go, okay, well, you got any little bit of anything, any kind of picture of anything at all, and they're watching the meter. And if the needle kind of dings, what was that? What was that thought right there? And you track it down. Once you get it all the way back to wherever you get it to, where the needle finally starts floating and the overts are done, and you've reached the bottom of that chain, is what it's called, a chain of overts. One overt, another overt, another overt, another overt, right? They make a little chain. You get down to the bottom, the basic on it. And then if it's FPRD, if it's a regular sec check, that's it, you're done. Then you go back and you recheck the question. But if it's false purpose rundown, we're going to get your evil intentions, right? So then you get asked the question. Okay, so you gotten all the way back down to stealing the royal footstool from Louis VIII, and that's your earliest overt, and it was, it's really not even that long ago, a few hundred years. And you say, was there some evil purpose or destructive intention that prompted you to commit that overt? That's what the auditor asked the pre-clear, right? And he goes, oh. Now, it's supposed to respond on the meter, and if it doesn't, then they'll check the question over again until it does. And then you finally get what the evil intention is. And you go, okay, so it was to destroy Louis, or to bring ruin to the court, or to, implode my life. I mean, it could be anything as long as it's a purpose and it's evil or destructive. And you give that up, and then you go, okay, is there, and if the needle's not floating and the person doesn't have some big win, then they go earlier on the evil intentions and confusions before that and other stuff. But I just kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of a flavor of what else happens in security checking. It's not just pulling your overts. You can also get to these evil intentions. And there's a whole nother rundown that uses that kind of security checking called the truth rundown, which is Scientology's most intense and powerful form of thought reform or brainwashing. And I did a whole video on that because that requires a whole explanation. But anyway, wanted to go over that real fast with you guys because that was where my all my research and study was done around that whole topic. So it's all fresh in my head in a really big way right now. And from that, I think can come the analysis and work that was done on that could come a whole new different way of approaching destructive cults. And what I did with Scientology could be done with other groups. Other cult leaders could have their words analyzed the same way you can analyze Hubbard's. And you can really take apart the framework of the belief and the control that they create. You can really break it down into, oh, here's what he said here, and here's what he said here, and here's what he said here. And by doing that, he's created in his followers this idea that, hey, it's okay to abuse me because it's necessary, or whatever. So good times with that. And in terms of, where we're going with the show, this all has opened up for me, I think, possible avenues of future work and research on this topic. So I'm really super excited about that because I never really imagined that I would be writing for academia.
Yeah.
Not in any serious way.
Yeah.
Not really. I never really thought. I always thought, even I'm going to do this program, I'm going to learn all this stuff, and then I'm going to go write regular books, like for regular people, not academics. But now I can see I can do both, and I'm kind of excited about that. Oh yeah, absolutely, Jonathan. You can contradict yourself as a pre-clear all the time, and with impunity. Nobody cares. Jonathan asks, do people ever have conflicting stories? I was Abraham Lincoln's aide, but then later recalls being a Confederate soldier. Yeah, absolutely. And you can get away with anything in Scientology auditing as far as your recall of your past lives. Because when you've lived a near infinite amount of time in the past, it's okay to mix up the dates sometimes. And so in your own mind, you'll kind of reconcile it, right? As, oh, no, that was here. And remember, in Scientology, not in reality, but in Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard has said that the time track, the amount of time you've been around, is measured in trillions and quadrillions of years, not thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions or tens of millions or hundred millions or billions, not that many years, quadrillions of years. So in all that time, across all this space, in all the universes you've been in, could you have been a Confederate soldier and been an aide to a president at the same circumstances or pretty much the same circumstances, wildly different places and times apart? Conceivably, you could. And so therefore, yes, you could. If it's conceivable, it's reality in Scientology as far as they're concerned. And that's kind of how it gets rationalized or thought about. They're not into questioning the pre-clears, integrity of their incidents. So long as they're giving up the goods, that's what they care about. And Lone Traveler asks, what is the Joburg Sec Check? It is a particular form of security check questions that was written in Johannesburg, South Africa, which is why it's called the Joburg. It is the most famous security check form in Scientology, and it has wonderfully bizarre questions A couple, I think it's about 150 or something questions. It's a very long security check. And it has questions specific to South Africa, like have you stolen diamonds? Are you a diamond runner? Things like that, as well as sexual proclivities and job stuff and all kinds of other fun things in there. That's what the Joburg is. Okay, so I thought, and we don't have any calls in the queue, but let me throw out there, 984-214-4154 is our call-in line. And you can call in and talk to us about anything you want. New beginnings and sort of the theme of the show, I thought I wanted to ask you guys, because I go on in a mad rate about, hitting the reset button when I got out of Scientology, and then now kind of feeling a little bit, not reset button, but a little bit like I can really kind of see this road ahead of me. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know really where it's going. But I'm kind of excited to be on it now. And that's kind of where I'm thinking, right? Is new beginnings, like, wow, there's so many possibilities right now of things I could get involved in or do. And I'm really excited about all that. And so I'm just taking the existing projects that I've been promising forever and getting those done, kind of talk. And after that, I don't know what's going to happen. Yes, there will be a Scientology Super Bowl commercial. I am sure that there will be. You'll probably find it previewed on Tony Ortega's blog. He loves previewing those things. Oh, good. And I am very, very glad that you guys like that podcast with Rachel, because there is more of that coming. Rachel and I are set up to do another one of those podcasts next week. This week, you'll get a rundown from me on my study program. I actually kind of go through the whole curriculum, and really not just from the point of view of here's what I studied, but here's some of the stuff I got out of it. Here's some of the stuff I can tell you about it. Here's some, and the full range of the program, not just the culty stuff, but also the domestic violence and the human trafficking and some of the other stuff we got into. I kind of went through all that, and it was kind of fun. So I think from that podcast this week, you'll get a much bigger picture of just what I've been up to for the last year and a half, because I go into a lot of the details about it and some stuff that I haven't really talked about in this time period. So it was kind of fun to do that. What do you think? Does the,
No.
No, the word rectum does not bother us. Okay. Yeah, I'd love to do a TED Talk. That'd be fun. Okay, we have calls in the queue. Let us pick them up. All right. Fascism. Yeah. Hello, you are on the air.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry. I'm calling you every Friday. I hope I'm not being annoying.
No.
Not at all.
Hi, Melissa. Hi, Chris. And Chris, congratulations on your analysis today.
Thank you.
Of the fascism that I see very clearly in Scientology. It's quite scary. And it also reminded me kind of Stalin, when you have to rat on your neighbors and say, they're anti-communist, they did this or they did that. It's really frightening, and I can't imagine. And of course, I heard the thing like, if you want to go in, say a new Scientologist, you have to sign all your rights away.
Yeah,
you can't sue them.
Nope.
You can't do anything. I mean, and I find it just absolutely astonishing. And your analysis with the fascism was just brilliant. And I'm just thinking, like, why don't people see this? It's just on in that mindset, like you wrote it and you didn't see it. It's pretty astonishing.
Exactly.
Oh my God. And I just saw something when I was looking for your critical conversation tonight. Somebody had said, Scientology will never end. Oh God, please make it end.
I know, right? Well, we're working on it.
Why would anyone think that it would never end?
Yeah, it will end. I want to assure you that it will. Whether it ends soon or not is really the question. And we hope that
I heard someone on another broadcast say that they thought it would implode.
It will.
Just like you did.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I had one more thought. I can't remember it. That it would just implode. Oh, I know. My last thought I could not believe this. Tom Cruise actually said there are three important people: Ron Hubbard, David Miscavige, and me. Holy cow! What kind of egomaniac do you have to be
Wow.
to believe you're that person who's going to save the world?
Yeah. Yeah, that's Tom Cruise for you. He's a beaut, isn't he?
He's completely delusional.
Yeah.
I'd love to run into him and say, "Hi, Tom." He would friggin' hate that.
Exactly.
You guys have a great night, and thank you for all your good work.
Thank you,
you.
Gail.
Good
Thanks
night.
very much. Good night. Awesome. All right. We got a couple other calls in the queue, so we're just going to jump right to them. And hello, is this Anthony?
Yes. Hi, Chris. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah. Hey, man. What's up? Welcome to the show.
I appreciate it. I've been a caller before, so it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I actually wanted to go off of something that I heard you guys just talking about.
Yeah.
You said you believe Scientology will end at some point, correct?
Yeah.
Well, I hope you're right for sure, because they're a destructive, dangerous cult that hurts people.
Yep.
And so, but the thing that I'm wondering about is how exactly that will happen. I'm assuming it'll have to involve some sort of government crackdown or some eventual government involvement. So my question is that with Scientology's history of violence and, David Miscavige's personal history of violence, do you think there's any real danger that if the government were to come down really hard on Scientology, it could end like Waco?
Yeah. Yeah. My honest answer to the question is I don't think so. I don't see Scientology going that route. Scientologists are not violent by nature. The dogma does not preach violence by nature, and it also is not very weapon or gun intensive. They don't have a worship of the gun or something like that. They don't stockpile them, things like that. There's not talk about, it's also not an end of days or apocalyptic cult the same way that Waco and other groups have been, with another sort of apocalyptic vision, Christian type of thing, or a Heaven's Gate UFO cult. Scientology is a UFO cult, but it's not a doomsday cult. And while it uses fear of an eventuality that, hey, we need to move faster, that's a different thing than the end is near and we're all going to kill ourselves if we don't make our goals.
Okay, so the same, you don't see either a situation where they turn violent against the authorities or where they all take their own lives.
I don't. However, let me be clear that you can create a context where that happens. And just like with Waco, if you put somebody's head up and you put them against a corner, then they're going to react that way, right? And if you stick David Miscavige in a corner, you stick his security detail in a corner, then that might be what happens. So obviously, let's do it so that doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. But as far as there being a mass or group issue, I don't see how something like that could happen, because Scientology is not really it's a pretty decentralized organization by design. Miscavige could be anywhere running things from any location, and everybody's gonna, salute. So, right. Yeah.
Well, that's I guess comforting to know, because certainly that's not a situation that anyone would want to see.
Right.
I just thought of it as a potential inevitability. And I also wanted one last question, if I may. Do you think that in terms of dismantling Scientology, would revoking the tax exempt status be all that's necessary? Would it all just get collapsed like a house of cards in on itself if you took away their tax exemption?
Probably, but not inevitably. They could survive it. But they would definitely end up being a much smaller version of themselves than they already are, which would be, which would create all kinds of problems. Right. Yeah.
So, okay. All right, then. Well, thanks very much, Chris. I really love your work and love your show, and thank you for all you do.
Absolutely. Thanks for calling in.
No problem.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, right. Oh, we've got more calls coming in, so we're just going to pick them up. Oh, right. Hello. You are on. Is this Robert?
Oh, hello. Me?
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hello.
I think we have a little bit of a delay or something.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Okay, I could hear you just now,
Yeah.
but there is definitely a delay in you talking. Is this Robert?
Yes, it is. I'll get off the line if it doesn't seem like we can actually hold a conversation. But my question was, or it's beyond a question. It's actually a sneaky suspicion.
Yeah, what you got?
My suspicion is that if you look at the celebrities, quote unquote, but if you look at the millions of dollars that are given to the Church of Scientology, assuming that actually happens, that means there seem to be dozens of millionaires who hand over hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars at a time to different churches and Ideal Org opening, and different IIS events. And I just find it hard to believe that all of those people are completely fooled and are really not getting anything out of this transaction. So my suspicion was that the Church of Scientology was actually perhaps financially beneficial to them in different ways, maybe some illegal, and that they're getting at least networking opportunities for other businesses with other rich people. And my other suspicion is that when I see millionaires giving millions of dollars to these Ideal Orgs and this IAS programs, I suspect that it's a tax dodge, that they're actually, the money is being written off as a tax deduction, and a large percentage of it is being given back to them in Swiss bank accounts or Cayman Island bank accounts, or what is it, Curacao, where the
Curacao, yeah.
Curacao. I just can't. I find it, for all the writing that so many people have written about how Scientology is such a scam. I just don't see a scam that fools dozens, perhaps a few hundred millionaires all the time, over and over again. But anyway, that was just my thought, and it never seems to get written about by those leaving Scientology. And it's an area that I would be fascinated to hear more.
Absolutely, and it's something we're very curious about ourselves. The idea that Scientology could be a front for or be utilized by the whales or by Miscavige for nefarious purposes has a lot of different possibilities. There's a lot of different scenarios there. Miscavige could as well be trafficking in information. I mean, he's got access to people's secrets, right? There's all kinds of potential blackmail material there, for example, as well as the possibility that maybe he's not doing that. Maybe he's actually got a front here and they give the money. It's all tax exempt. They get a kickback. You got commission systems and stuff like that they could set up. There are lots and lots of ways to move that money around. And given how much money Scientology is dealing in, and they seem to be really keen on real estate investments too, and however that could, play into a money laundering operation. Absolutely. There's all kinds of possibilities there. And Jeffrey Augustine and Jeff Wassel have both been people who have written on this topic and looked into Scientology from that angle. So I would check out Scientology Money Project for information on that. And you can know that I've got my attention on some parts of that and have some idea of writing on that topic myself. But that's after a whole lot of research because we just have nothing but conjecture right now.
Yeah, the one thing I thought, and it is a conjecture on my part, but it's, and I told you, I think in the middle of the week, I wanted to actually go over some Freedom magazines and try to find some evidence to support my conjecture.
Yeah.
But I think that so many people who have left Scientology have been basically sort of dirt poor. and never really exposed to this celebrity. Like the cash flows that go through Scientology are truly amazing. Even like you're talking Catholic Church amounts of money for an organization with 30,000, 20,000 members or something.
Yeah.
So I keep wondering if the people who have left have been basically, a lot of them are ground floor, although some of them are at like the international base and so on. But the only one that I've heard of that came out of OSA was Mike Rinder.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, you started discussing how you were assisting millionaires defraud the IRS of billions of dollars. You're looking at going to jail. Like Bernie Madoff went to jail, or has got a sentence of like 180 years or something.
Well,
So
exactly.
if
It's not. It doesn't exactly lend itself to people coming forward, right? But also, you're right. What the place where people are going to have information about the money flows in Scientology are going to be people who come out of what's called the International Finance Office, and there has not been a lot of people coming out of there, and the ones who do haven't particularly alluded to anything, blatantly or grossly illegal. But we do know about briefcases of cash being moved around and couriered and stuff like that. So again, the possibilities are endless, but the hard evidence is very, very scarce.
Yeah, and I guess I'll end it here so I won't monopolize your time or all the viewers' time. But thanks a lot. It's nice to see you and Melissa. And I was just enjoying my cat on my lap. I'm sorry that he's no longer around, but my cat Kaiser is here and providing comfort on this cold night. But yeah, no, I really enjoy your stories, and I've read several of these Scientology defector books, including your own. And it just sometimes I get rise to questions that haven't been directly answered in the book, and it's great to be able to talk to you sometimes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Robert. Thanks for calling in and talking about that. And you're right. These are great questions. And I wish I had better answers for you, and we will keep going until we get them. All right. And that is Robert.
All right.
And now we have, looks like Darla's been on the hold for a bit, so we're going to pick this one up. This is the last one in the queue right now. Hello, is this Darla?
This is she.
Hi. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Oh, can you turn down the speaker? There you go.
Okay. How's that?
Better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, nice to see y'all. I watch you every week. My question is about new beginnings. This goes back, I can tell, from a while ago in the conversation. But this question is for Melissa. How have you found Chris to have changed from the time that you met him, married him, and now have seen him through this progress and the new direction that he's going?
I think, he's definitely changed a lot in a lot of opinions, a lot. I'm not bringing a specific one to mind for some reason, but I know he's changed a lot of like opinions, and he's grown as a person emotionally and learned a lot about that, learned a lot about psychology, and that's helped him out, be a better person and, be more stable and that kind of thing. And and definitely lots of things that he's changed his mind about and changed my mind about. And
yeah, we like having deep conversations.
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that you can awaken things within each other.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's changed me a lot. She has changed me a lot. And just knowing her and just knowing her experiences and stuff,
I don't, she seems very grounded, and you're grounded also, Chris, but the two of you seem to level out whatever mania may be between the two of you.
That's a good way of putting it. Thank you.
True, yeah.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Chris,
I wish you great success in your future.
Thank you.
Melissa, I hope that you're on the other end of all of this wealth and fame he's going to get. And happy 2020.
Thank you very
yeah.
much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Awesome. Nice call.
Yeah.
All right, good. And I see another call coming into the queue here. I just want to check and make sure we don't have anything horrible happening in the comments while we're going.
They want to know if I've tamed you. Have I tamed you?
Have you tamed me? Yeah, I'd say you have. I would say you definitely have. My urethra's on fire. Jesus, Red Pill.
I think I need to be more tamed than he does.
Okay, let's see here. Just checking along here. Oh, yeah, there's this question somebody's asking about David Miscavige having kids. What do I think his feelings are on the matter of not having kids? I don't think he cares. I don't think Miscavige hates kids. He doesn't want kids.
He's probably happy.
Yeah, and also I think he's a little asexual as far as all that goes too. So, yeah. All right. So let's pick up Travis. Hello.
Hello, Chris. Hello, Melissa. This is Travis.
Hello.
Hey, Travis. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. And so tonight's topic is new beginnings.
Yes.
And I'm curious, Chris, your process of leaving Scientology was a new beginning.
Yes.
And I'm curious to know some of the things that helped you along the best in your new beginning or your new beginnings from Scientology. I mean, yes, your wife, by the way, so she was probably been the biggest thing, but in addition to that,
yeah.
Otherwise, yes.
Absolutely. My ready answer and the one I go to all the time is, of course, critical thinking, right? Carl Sagan, Michael Shermer, Penn and Teller. Learning about skepticism, learning about critical thinking was really, really, really important. Socializing. I can't stress enough how big of a deal that was for me. Learning about like meetup.com and getting out and getting into the world again and meeting people and meeting regular people. And realizing and finding out that they were actually okay, not all horrible, aberrated wogs who wanted to do me in and all that crap. So those were really very big first steps for me before even meeting Melissa.
How much of an how much of an emotional process was this for you? Because I'm assuming that having spent as much time as you did in Scientology, there was likely a bit of baggage for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to I didn't have a therapist or access to therapy for a few years. And basically I leaned on my mom most heavily, and my father less so, but some. And then meeting people and started and getting into the atheist community, and I just found a lot of support there, because these are people who, for the most part, a lot of them have come out of religion. They come out of some abusive situation the same way I did. And it's not to say that all religious experiences are abusive, but we certainly had them. And so I've just perfectly found my tribe, kind of, so to speak, with these people, and they were very understanding and very supportive. So that was a big part of the first couple years. Was a lot of crying, a lot of ringing on the phone, a lot of what the hell, a lot of anger, a lot of trying to sort stuff out and figure out, where's the new level here? Where's the new base? Because the way I was operating in the world as a Scientologist and a Sea Org member was bloody insane, and trying to reorient that and find a new place in the world was the struggle for the first couple of years.
Let me ask you this, and this was a subtext in your answer that you just gave. Assumed in that was that the people who you had met, you trusted, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Which I'm surprised you were able to transition into trusting somebody that fast, because Scientology sounds to me like you can't trust anybody ever, and they're going to snitch you out.
Yep.
So in order to go that quickly from the Sea Org to doing the things that you had just described, to me is rather remarkable in as short of a time as you had done it.
Well, let me bring one other factor to the equation here, because I love, feeling like there's something cool there, but the fact is, and I didn't twig on this for a long time, because I thought coming out, speaking, making videos, getting going, a lot of people were commenting when I first came out, holy shit, he sure got over that quick. Wow, he's recovered fast. Look at all the stuff he's doing. No, what was happening there was more a manifestation of my obsession with oversharing than it was a reflection of true trust. That didn't sort for a couple years. I was just oversharing because I was in the habit of telling everybody everything all the time, because that's the other part of the Scientology culture, is you have the snitch culture, but you also have the enforced transparency of that snitch culture, where you just learn to just say everything all the time, and that way you don't have any withholds, right? So that was kind of also part of what was going on inside of me. So to say it happened quickly, I was also in a situation where I kind of needed somebody to talk to. And these were people who were never connected with Scientology, and I never was concerned about them in a way, in terms of them snitching me out or something. It wasn't quite that situation for me. I later, after I started making videos and speaking out and that kind of thing, I had to get a lot more careful about who I was telling what to. So that's kind of how that went.
Okay. And that's all valuable information. And I think that your explanations here to, well, all the questions, but also to these questions that I've been asking, can potentially inspire somebody or help somebody through not only a journey out of Scientology, but maybe it'll inspire them to get out of a situation or begin anew in a particular, some unrelated life position. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
my hope. And so, thank you for helping me with that, because that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Well, and the idea here is that people simply need to identify what's going on inside of them and share it with somebody who they trust. I mean, the fact that you're able to admit this, you did a lot of crying and so forth, I'm a big boy and I've done that before myself, and it's not the easiest time, but you know what? Guess what? I'm not Rambo all day long. Sometimes I'm not. So.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Cool. Nice call. Yeah, let's just say on that, by the way, that I don't know why. I kind of stopped trying to figure it out, but I really think about thinking a lot. I mean, I'm a pretty introspective person.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe too much so. Oh, hey, thank you, Sandy, for that super chat. Wow. Very, very much appreciated. So if I've got a superpower, it's introspection. It's not particularly self-honesty, because sometimes it takes me a while to come around to realizing stuff.
That's true of everybody.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I work really, really hard on it. I mean, you can accuse me of a lot of things, but underthinking things is generally not one of them. So that's kind of always been part of my process. I've always been a very analytical person too. So that was always at play. And there's one other thing I'll throw out there that I've never really mentioned before that you guys might find kind of interesting in terms of the Scientology identity. Steve Hassan has talked in Combating Cult Mind Control about how you develop this cult personality. You have your original personality, and then the cult kind of gives you this new one. And that's a way of describing it. I think there's better ways of describing it, but that suits. And the reason I bring that up is because as a Scientologist and a Sea Org member, there was a little bit of a split personality thing going on, because you would have your Scientology Sea Org persona, And then there'd be the inner voice, the inner person, the like, this is all bullshit. What the fuck am I putting up with this crap for? But you never say that stuff, even to your, spouse or others, your best friend in the Sea Org or whatever. You just can't say that stuff. And so you kind of develop this other voice. And so you end up with this little weird thing where you're kind of inside looking at your life while your life is happening. It's a little weird. It's a little hard to describe. I'm probably not doing it well, but it's kind of like there's always this observer part of yourself watching yourself. And that persisted for a long time after coming out. And so that was part of the the analytical side. So while all the emotions are brewing and I'm going through all that, I'm still also just kind of watching myself go through all this too. And it was a little weird. Took a long time to kind of reconcile those two things together. And if that sounds nuts, it's probably because it was a little nuts. So, so that was that. So, all right, I guess we're going to start moving toward wrapping up. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. We have, okay. So I did mention podcasts. So that's going up tomorrow. And then if you're here in Denver, by the way, or anywhere around, I will be speaking at the Secular Hub tomorrow. And I'll be doing a talk on the psychology of coercive control. Basically talking about stuff I learned and culty stuff and, what coercive control is and stuff like that. So that should be kind of fun. All right. So let's do our critical thinking cards.
Straw man.
All right, straw man. Your fallacy is straw man. When you are presenting a straw man, what you are doing is misrepresenting someone's argument to make it easier to attack. Okay, you're straw manning them. After Bob said that we should be nice to kittens, Will says Bob wants to be mean to puppies. Nice to kittens? You want to be mean to puppies. Everyone boos Bob, who is clearly a mean jerk for wanting to hurt poor, cute puppies. That's called a straw man, right? Never said it, never meant it, but I'm going to make it up and stick it in your mouth and pretend you said it and then argue against you as though you did when you never said any such thing. And what it does is it's a beautiful effort at misdirection. Oh, this argument here I can't fight back against? We'll look over here. Call it a straw man. All right, so there you guys go. I am not an expert card shuffler, guys. All right. Bud123, does the media unduly influence people?
Of course.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Of course it does. But we got to get into the weeds to figure all that out because it's complicated, as with everything. I've tried to overgeneralize and I've blown it every time. So but it is bad. All right. Yeah, I guess we'll start wrapping up here.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough, guys. So thank you very much for everybody who called in. Thank you very much for all of your support. And I'm not making any promises. I'm not sticking my foot in my mouth. I'm just saying there is some really cool stuff brewing on my channel here, and I am still in the midst of figuring that out. It is a new beginning in a lot of ways, and I'm very pumped and excited about it, but nervous as hell at the same time. So I'm trying to navigate my way here. All right. With all that being said, let's go ahead and wrap up the show for this week. See you guys soon.
Good night.